Jimi Hendrix, who changed the sound of rock guitars, accomplished his musical impact in the short span of only 4 years. Widely regarded as one of the most influential electric guitarists of all time, Hendrix is described as, quote, arguably the greatest instrumentalist in the history of rock music by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Jimi Hendrix was born in Seattle, Washington on November 27, 1942, as John Allen Hendrix. He was initially raised by his mother, while his father, James Al Hendrix, was in Europe fighting in World War II. When Al returned to the United States in 1945, he collected his son and renamed him James Marshall Hendrix. After getting into some trouble, Jimi Hendrix was given a choice of enlisting in the Army or 2 years in jail. He enlisted on May 31st, 1961, and was assigned to the 101st Airborne Division. It became apparent after some time that the Army wasn't the best fit for him, and he was discharged. While unheralded as a musician in the early 1960s, Hendrix worked as a session musician under the name Jimmy James. When he formed his own group, he called it Jimmy James and the Blue Flames. In 1966, Chaz Chandler, the bassist for The Animals and the future manager of Jimi Hendrix, saw the musician playing in New York City. At first, Hendrix didn't seem to set himself apart as anything special. Then he started playing his guitar with his teeth, and Chandler knew Hendrix was special. It was his new manager, Chandler, who suggested he use the name Jimmy. When asked about the guitarists who inspired him, Hendrix cited Buddy Holly, Eddie Cochran, Elmore James, and B.B. King. But Muddy Waters was the first musician who truly made him fall in love with the guitar. The first guitarist I was aware of was Muddy Waters, Hendrix said. I heard one of his old records when I was a little boy, and it scared me to death because I heard all these sounds. In 1969, an interviewer asked Hendrix whether he could read music. No, not at all, the self-taught musician replied. He learned to play by ear and would often use words or colors to express what he wanted to communicate. Some feelings make you think of different colors, he said in an interview with Crawdaddy magazine. Jealousy is purple. I'm purple with rage. Or purple with anger. And green is envy. And all this. Hendrix's bandmates called him the Bat because he would darken or block his windows and sleep during the day. Purple Haze was written by Hendrix on December 26, 1966, while backstage at a club in London. Hendrix says the lyrics were inspired by a dream he had where he could walk underwater. He was walking under the sea when a purple haze surrounded and engulfed him. Hendrix claimed the experience was traumatic, but luckily, his faith in Jesus saved him in the dream. At one point, Jimmy originally wrote the lyric, "Purple Haze, Jesus Saves," in the song, but ultimately opted to omit it. When the recording was finally finished, the studio sent a copy of the tape to Jimmy's label in America with a note that read, "Deliberate distortion, do not correct." Jimi Hendrix first laid down the riff for his iconic song Purple Haze, it changed rock music forever. To put it in perspective, the first chord played in this song has been universally now called the Hendrix chord. Ever the showman, Hendrix's many guitar-playing quirks quickly became part of his legend. In addition to playing with his teeth, behind his back, or without touching the instrument's strings, he also played his guitar upside down, though there was a very simple reason for that. He was left-handed. His father tried to get him to play right-handed, as he considered left-handed playing a sign of the devil. In 1966, Jimi Hendrix, Mitch Mitchell, and Noel Redding played together for the first time. The Jimi Hendrix Experience was formed. Hendrix used 3 100-watt Marshall amplifiers during his performances. Usually, Jimi played them in unison and would turn the control knobs to the maximum level, and this became known as the Hendrix setting. In December 2011, Guitar World selected Jimi's playing of the Star-Spangled Banner at Woodstock as #1 on its list of 100 greatest performances. Jimi Hendrix could have been considered a so-called one-hit wonder because his only US top 40 hit was All Along the Watchtower, a song included on the double album set Electric Ladyland, his only #1 album. Jimi Hendrix always metaphorically created fire when he played guitar live, but while performing at the Monterey Pop Festival in 1967, Jimi literally lit his guitar on fire to the amusement of all his fans. In 2016, the London flat where Hendrix really began his career was restored to what it would have looked like when Jimi lived there from 1968 to 1969 and reopened as a museum. The living room that doubled as his bedroom is decked out in bohemian decor, and a pack of Benson and Hedges cigarettes sits on the bedside table. There's also space dedicated to his record collection. Amazingly, that same apartment building, which is located in the city's Mayfair neighborhood, was also home to George Handel from 1723 until his death in 1759. That's the same Handel that wrote The Messiah, and the rest of the building serves as a museum to the famed composer's life and work. It was reported that Jimi Hendrix passed away from asphyxiation while intoxicated on September 18, 1970, at the young age of 27. Others have said that his death was not accidental. However he died, the world lost a gifted musician, and memory of his passionate playing will stand the test of time. Thanks for watching Jukebox Jams. If you enjoyed this video, please click to subscribe to our channel and hit the thumbs up button. Be sure to tap the notification bell so you'll be one of the first to know when we post our next story about musical legends.